Preparation for docking. PMA number 3, pressurized mating adapter number 3, will be removed and replaced on the Unity node, making room for the multi-purpose logistics module to be docked to the common berthing mechanism on the lower port of Unity. On flight day 4, the MPLM will be unberthed from the payload bay and connected to the Unity node. Leonardo will be unberthed from the International Space Station on flight day 10 and rebirthed into Discovery's payload bay following transfer of all the equipment, racks, logistics into the International Space Station. Later that day, the Discovery is scheduled to undock and begin a fly-around of the International Space Station. And gradually depart the International Space Station. Back with live coverage of Space Shuttle Discovery here at Launch Pad 39B, Kennedy Space Center.
The window does close at 11:47:08 GMT, and our lock stream back hold time
2C control
is 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Changes to our launch window.
System engineers in firing room number 1 here at KSC in the Launch Control Complex, continuing to monitor all of their shuttle systems and
there are no COLAs today.
Not working any technical issues at this time. No
will manage the countdown timeline.
Significant problems being worked. Very quiet countdown thus far.
TLT at T-minus 5 minutes. Perform APU start upon command.
Discovery in excellent health at the launch pad.
TLT copies. CDR, the pad egress system is nominal.
75.
And the evac helipad is 9. 9, I copy, thanks. Control room launch team, disable your telephone ringers at this time. Control room access will be restricted after resuming the count to T-minus 20 minutes.
Members of the mission management team fully assembled for some time here in the firing room number 1.
Channel 217. After T-minus 20 minutes, all problems...
Space Shuttle Element project managers
to the NTD on 212.
Overseeing their systems.
For all manual holds after T-minus 5 minutes.
NASA test directors, orbiter test conductors, and
next milestone is necessary.
Somewhere between 150 and 200 staff members in the firing room today. Looking forward to a launch of Space Shuttle Discovery toward the International Space Station this morning at 6:42 a.m.
Without a ghost survey being made of all elements. After T-minus 31 seconds, only cutoff is available and will result in a recycled T-minus 20. For a cutoff, per words CGLS give cutoff will be used. The GLS milestones are as listed. And SPE, any comments for the crew at this time?
No comment.
Copy, and that concludes the T-minus 20-minute briefing.
Get to the safety.
Go safety.
Give you 974.
Copy. Copy, 974, safety. And STM, I'll give you 975. And STM also 976. GSSFC. Good. In 30. Copy.
This is shuttle launch control. Now about 47 seconds remaining in our built-in hold here at the T-minus 20-minute mark.
And attention all personnel, console operators, discontinue all LDB commands and reads during pass ops transition. And the clock will resume in 25 seconds. Mark. And the clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus 20 minutes and counting. Discovery's onboard computers will transition into the terminal countdown configuration at this time. We'll dump the computer memory.
OTC DPS.
Go ahead, DVB-S.
Pass ops transition complete. DPS ready for BFS transition to Ops 101. Step 936.
Copy that. CDR OTC. Go ahead. Clear pass fault sum and take BFS to Ops 1. Okay, that's in work. OTC CDR BFS Tops 1 is complete. Copy that. PLT OTC, configure pass and BFS horizontal sit displays. And CDR OTC, work. CDR OTC, configure contingency abort yaw steer. And work. Entity CDFS. Entity CDFS. Go ahead. Ready for BFS uplink. I copy. Houston Flight NTD, we're ready for step 953.
MTD Houston Flight, we will put it in work.
NTDS2. Go ahead. I can give you step 991. Copy. SRO NTD, the KSC area is clear for launch. Copy. Below SOTC. Go ahead, OTC. That give you 961. Put it in work.
DVB, FCP, OTC.
CPD.
Go to adjust fuel cell loads.
FCP copy. CPD copies and work. Countdown clock will hold at T-minus 9 minutes and 3 minutes.
NTD Houston Flight, step 954, BFS pre-flight unplug load is complete.
I copy. CVFS, you copy? I copy.
And all stations discontinue all non-mandatory LDB traffic for a remainder of count.
Over the last few minutes, the orbiter test conductor, Jerry Goodson, has asked pilot Kelly to report the quantities of RCS propellant. Booster test conductor has been asked to start the gaseous nitrogen purge of the aft skirts. This flow of inert gas ensures that no explosive or flammable gases can accumulate in the bottom of the SRBs prior to ignition. All non-essential personnel being cleared from the launch danger area at this time in the count. A little over 1 minute away from going into our final built-in hold at the T-minus 9 minute mark. Just 1 minute away from entering the last planned built-in hold at T-minus 9 minutes. Flow rate of conditioned air fed into the orbiter's payload bay has been reduced to be approximately 180 pounds per minute.
Clock's at T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
45 minutes and 8 seconds.
This will be a 45-minute built-in hold.
NTD Houston Flight, 212.
Start flight.
Yes, step 946, we need to change TAL sites. If we could make that call to the commander, please.
Okay, I copy that. And you can proceed with your changes.
Discovery Houston, on Spec 50, we would like to change our TAL site selection.
Okay, we're ready to copy.
Discovery, we would like you to select Site 2 for Ben Guerir, runway 36. Currently it's OBS and forecast go. We're showing nominal aim point, nominal speed.
Immediately after liftoff, control of the space shuttle switches from Kennedy Space Center to mission control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas.
Predicted touchdown.
Flight controllers are standing by now, ready to assume control of the vehicle after liftoff. We now go to mission control to get a brief update on their activities from Eileen Hawley.
And thank you, Joel. Good morning. At T-minus 9 minutes and holding, this is Mission Control Houston. The ascent team of flight controllers is on duty here in Mission Control, ready to assume responsibility for the mission and the crew once Discovery clears the tower. The team is once again under the direction of one of our most experienced ascent flight directors, Wayne Hale, overseeing his 26th shuttle ascent today. Wayne Hale is joined on console by the weather flight director, John Shannon. Throughout launch preparations today, Shannon will coordinate with the Spaceflight Meteorology Group here in Houston to understand weather conditions at Kennedy Space Center and at the transatlantic landing sites around the world. Handling communications duties with the crew today is astronaut Gus Loria. He's joined on console by astronauts Scott Altman and Mike Bloomfield, who are acting as the weather capcoms. They're coordinating the real-time weather reconnaissance being conducted by astronaut Terry Wilcott, flying both a T-38 training aircraft and the shuttle training aircraft at the launch site. Weather conditions in Florida this morning are crisp and clear, not posing a challenge to today's scheduled launch at 5:42 a.m. Central Time. The team continues to watch weather at the transatlantic landing sites. The primary site is likely to be Ben Guerir, Morocco, where weather conditions at the time of launch are expected to be acceptable. Just down the hall from the shuttle flight control room, International Space Station Flight Director Sally Davis and her team of flight controllers are on duty watching over the station. Bill Shepard, Yuri Gudzenko, and Sergei Krikalev are awake, and the flight control team is hoping to send them live views of this morning's launch through the laptop computers on board. At the time of Discovery's launch, the station will be about 1,000 miles south of Perth, Australia, and about 15 minutes later, directly overhead the Florida launch site, where the station crew will attempt to take a picture of Discovery's launch plume, which should still be visible. The core members of the sts102 crew, Commander Jim Weatherby, Pilot Jim Kelly, and mission specialists Andy Thomas and Paul Richards, will be accompanied by 2 expedition crews on this mission. Conducting the first rotation of crews on board the International Space Station, they're accompanied on the first part of their voyage by the Expedition 2 crew, Commander Yuri Usachov, and flight engineers Jim Voss and Susan Helms. When Discovery returns home on March 20th, the Expedition 1 crew of Bill Shepard, Yuri Gudzenko, and Sergei Krikalev will return to Earth with them, marking the end of their 135-day stay as the inaugural crew on the International Space Station.
NTD Houston flight.
Discovery's launch this morning begins a precisely timed choreography that will see it rendezvous with the station just after 11:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday. Tucked in Discovery's payload bay is the Leonardo logistics module carrying a variety of equipment and supplies to the station. Built and provided by the Italian Space Agency, Leonardo is the first of 3 moving vans that will help ferry equipment to and from the space station. Among the equipment stowed in Leonardo is the first Human Research Facility experiment rack that will be used by the Expedition 2 crew to conduct human life science investigations. And now for an update on science operations for the International Space Station and a look at the Payload Operations Control Center, we'll go to Tracy McMahon at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you, Eileen. Here at the Payload Operations Center in Huntsville, Alabama, all positions are staffed and we are ready to support Expedition 2. Payload Operations at the Marshall Space Flight Center is NASA's primary science command post for the International Space Station, the most ambitious space research facility ever assembled in orbit. The Payload Operations Director, or POD, leads this team of scientists and engineers. The team is working around the clock 7 days a week to ensure efficient experiment operations. They will be planning when experiments are conducted on the space station, and they manage the flow of commands sent to experiments in space and data sent back to scientists on Earth. During Expedition 2, you may hear the PACOM, or payload communicator, here in Huntsville, talking with the crew in space about the experiments. If necessary, the payload operations team can even put scientists around the world in touch with the space station crew. Now we'll switch back to the Kennedy Space Center for continuing coverage of the Space Shuttle launch. This is Payload Operations, Huntsville.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 9 minutes in holding. Now 39 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in our built-in hold here. Everything continuing to go very well in preparation for today's launch. In the early part of this built-in hold, KSC Launch Payload Manager Bill Dowdell completed a polling of his team to verify that the multiple logistics module, Leonardo, in the payload bay is ready to support.
And attention all personnel, our final launch window times have not changed. I will reiterate those once again. Our preferred launch time this morning is 11:42:09 with a window close of 11:47:08. And our constraint this morning will be based on performance 4 minutes and 08 seconds, which is a change to our previous.
NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding reporting, confirming the target launch time, preferred launch time of 6:42:09 a.m. this morning, with a LOX drain back time of 4 minutes and 8 seconds.
MTD CMQC 212.
Go CMQC.
Yes, sir. At this time, we have no constraints to launch.
Okay, copy that. I take it our last line item 281 has been cleared.
That's affirmed, sir.
Okay. Copy and thank you, and SDE copy as well.
SB copies.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding, with now 32 minutes remaining in our built-in hold.
No anomalies noted. Copy.
During the first portion of this hold, all the shuttle systems and shuttle elements are doing their standard pre-flight polling. Chief Engineer Charlie Abner has polled the shuttle engineering community, and all systems are go. Payload community has been polled. Bill Dowdell and the multi-purpose logistics module Leonardo, and hardware inside Discovery's payload bay, ready to support liftoff today. No issues being worked here in the firing room. About 31 minutes remaining in our built-in hold. When the countdown does resume, the ground launch sequencer will be in control. The master computer program will issue the commands to perform the final critical task required to put the vehicle in launch configuration. Also monitor as many as 1,000 different measurements during the final 9 minutes to make sure that they do not fall out of the predetermined limits. All personnel in Firing Room 1 have switched over to the same communication channel and will stay on that channel from now through liftoff. Several major milestones remain between now and launch. As we come out of the hold, the ground launch sequencer takes over. At about T-minus 7 minutes and 30 seconds, the orbiter access arm is retracted.
ECL, EPD, and C-Power NTD. ECL.
And at about T-minus 5 minutes, pilot Jim Kelly will start the orbiter's auxiliary power units.
Fire X pumps will be started momentarily. That's step 1017.
A check of the orbiter's aero surfaces will occur at T-minus 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Switch over to internal power occurs at T-minus 3 minutes, 30 seconds. And shuttle main engine gimbal test occurs at the T-minus 3 minute, 30 second mark. Previewing the milestones getting closer to the T0 mark, the liquid oxygen tank pressurization and retraction of the GOX vent hood, gaseous oxygen vent hood, or beanie cap, will start at T-minus 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And the LH2 tank of the external tank will be pressurized for flight at about 1 minute and 57 seconds. Again, at T-minus 31 seconds, the ground launch sequencer will issue a go to Discovery's onboard computers to start their own automatic sequence. And at about T-minus 10 seconds, the spark igniters near the main engine nozzles will burn off any residual gaseous hydrogen. This ensures that there is no dangerous accumulation of hydrogen gas in the area prior to starting the 3 powerful main engines. Final command from the ground computers will come at T-minus 10 seconds. A go for main engine start. 3 engines are started at T-minus 6.6 seconds. Come up to full thrust before the 2 solid rocket boosters are ignited at the T-minus 0 mark. Beautiful shot of the launch pad area. Sun beginning to peak over the eastern horizon. Setting up a beautiful day for liftoff of Discovery today.
N2D STM.
Start STM.
1019.
I copy. ECL, EPD, and C-Power. A Fire-X pump is started and is running and operational. ECL, you copy?
Copy.
EPD?
EPD copies.
And C-Power.
C-Power copies.
This is Shuttle Launch Control. Latest update from the LRD here in the firing room, reporting that the solid rocket booster recovery ships should be on station for booster retrieval at about 6:30. Sea states being more manageable than initially forecasted over the last few days. Minutes remaining in our built-in hold here at the T-minus 9-minute mark. We've seen a very crisp polling of the readiness of the launch team to support, with so few issues considered throughout the entire launch count. Very smooth operation thus far. Engineers still monitoring their systems, but all very quiet here in firing room 1.
OTC TV.
Go ahead, PVD.
Step 1027 is not performed, and I can give you 1030 payload bay fluid set for launch.
Copy that.
14 minutes remaining in our built-in hold at the T-minus 9-minute mark.
PLT OTC, clear caution warning memory, verify no unexpected errors. 10 work. OTC PLT hardware caution warning memory cleared, no unexpected errors. Copy. Let's go for launch.
ISL, JRPS, and Houston Flight. Perform the L-15 recorder activation. ISL?
ISL copies.
JRPS?
JRPS copies.
And Houston Flight.
Houston Flight copies.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. Now 6 minutes remaining in our built-in hold. 6 minutes until we resume the countdown for the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery on mission sts102. All continuing to go very well here in the firing room. No issues being worked. Launch team and Discovery ready to support liftoff at 6:42 a.m. Eastern Time.
And attention all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the launch status check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC?
OTCs go.
TBC?
TBC go.
PTC?
PTCs go for launch.
LPS?
LPS go.
Flight?
Houston Flight is go for launch.
MILA?
MILA is go for launch.
STM?
STMs go.
Safety Console?
Safety consoles go.
SPE?
SDs go.
LRD?
LRDs go.
SRO?
SRO is go. You have a range clear to launch.
And CDR?
Discoveries go.
I copy, and launch director of the launch team is ready to proceed.
I copy that. Thank you. I'll do my poll at this time. Chief Engineer, verify no constraint to launch.
Engineering team is go, Mike.
Thank you, Charlie. KC Shuttle Mission Assurance.
SMA is go.
Copy. International Space Station Launch Manager.
Mike, on behalf of our international partners at Aussie and Alenia, we're good to proceed.
Thank you, Bill. Range weather.
Roger, sir. We have no constraints to launch.
Okay, thank you. And Ops Manager.
Mission management team is working no issues, Mike. You have a go to continue the count.
Okay, thank you, sir. Discovery Launch Director.
Go ahead.
Okay, Wex, looks like a beautiful day to go fly. Discovery's ready for you. I'd like to wish good luck to the entire crew. See 4 of you back here in about 12 days, and Expedition 2 crew back here in about 4 months.
Okay, well, thank you very much. You know, you can't help but think of all the hundreds of thousands of people who work on these vehicles and make this happen. Great job to the folks at the Cape, and with that, Expedition 2 is ready to relieve Expedition 1.
Copy, sir. Thank you. NTD, Launch Director, with that, you're clear to proceed.
I copy, thank you. And attention all personnel, the countdown clock will resume in 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
And now with 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in our built-in hold at the T-minus 9 minute mark.
I copy that. And OTC, NTD.
Good.
Okay, working our Ds here on step 1035 for V10 recorder activation.
Mission Management Team Chairman Jim Halsell has polled the members of the team and given the final go for launch. Launch Director Mike Leimbach polled the Payload Manager, Shuttle Engineering Directorate, Cape Weather Officer, Director of Safety, to verify that everyone is ready to pick up with the countdown this morning. NTD Jeff Spaulding has completed his poll of the various test conductors, including those responsible for the vehicle, the spacecraft, the range, MILA, and mission control. Has verified that we will be ready to come out of this hold at the T-minus 9 minute mark and proceed down to launch in 2 minutes, 23 seconds. Once again, the opening of the planar window for this launch attempt is at 6:37 a.m. Preferred launch time at 6:42, and closure of that planar window at 6:47 p.m. With an on-time launch, we will have a Flight Day 3 rendezvous with the International Space Station. 2 minutes remaining in the built-in hold.
And the countdown clock will start in 1 minute.
Just 1 minute remaining in the built-in hold at T-minus 9 minutes. Now just seconds away from resuming the countdown, looking for a liftoff. Again, 6:42 a.m. Eastern Time. Official sunrise time at about 6:40 a.m. Here just minutes before, we see the beautiful Florida sky setting up for a excellent liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery.
Countdown clock will resume on my mark.
3,
3,
2, 1.
Mark.
T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
GLS auto sequence has been initiated.
The ground launch sequencer has been initiated. All continuing to go well for today's launch of Space Shuttle Discovery.
PLT OTC, connect essential buses to fuel cells. OTC, PLT, essential buses connected to fuel cells. Copy.
Pilot Jim Kelly is now flipping switches in the orbiter's crew cabin to directly connect the 3 fuel cells to the essential power buses on Discovery. In just a few moments, the orbiter access arm will be retracted away from Discovery and into the launch configuration. We see it moving at this time. That arm can be extended again if necessary in just a few seconds.
Illuminate your expedition to our home among the stars. Discovery copies, thank you. JRPS, OTC start APU strip chart recorders.
This is RPS, that is complete.
PLT, OTC, perform APU pre-start.
Orbiter test conductor has given pilot Kelly a go to perform the auxiliary power unit pre-start. Once again, a configuration of switches in the cockpit, putting the APUs in a ready-to-start configuration.
OTC, PLT, APU pre-start complete. 3 gray talkbacks. Copy that.
APU pre-start is complete. Auxiliary power unit activation will come at T-minus 5 minutes. The APUs provide hydraulic power to the orbiter. Mission Control has transmitted the signal to start the flight recorders. 2 recorders will collect measurements of shuttle system performance during flight or playback after the vehicle is in orbit. T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
GLS is go for orbiter APU start. PLP OTC perform APU start.
APU activation has been reported complete.
PDR, reconfigure heaters. Edward.
Commander Weatherby is working to reconfigure the orbiter's heaters for launch.
Heater reconfig complete.
Ground launch sequencer has terminated liquid oxygen replenished to the external tank.
Yes. Third sequence 4.
At this point, a profile test of the orbiter's aero surfaces has started. Orbiter flight control surfaces are being moved through a pre-programmed pattern to verify that they are ready for launch. 3 main engines are being gimbaled and positioned for launch. All systems are go for the launch at this time. Just a few minutes away from the 29th voyage of Space Shuttle Discovery with a crew of 7. Coming up on pressurization of the tank holding super cold liquid oxygen propellant used to power the main engines.
GLS is go for ET LO2 pressurization.
Retraction of the gaseous oxygen vent hood or beanie cap should take place any moment now.
PLP OTC clear caution warning memory. Verify no unexpected errors. That's what? OTC PLP caution warning memory cleared. No unexpected errors.
Beanie cap being removed from the top of the external tank. The next few seconds, the flight crew will close and lock their visors.
Edward.
T-minus 2 minutes to launch.
GLS is go for ET LH2 pressurization.
7-member crew is about to embark on the 103rd space shuttle flight in history. Discovery will transport the Expedition 2 crew to their new home on orbit and bring home the Expedition 1 crew after 4 months in space. This mission continuing a permanent human presence in space. All systems aboard Discovery are go. T-minus 1 minute and counting. 1 minute away from the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery is now operating from internal power supplies. Orbiter computers have positioned the vent doors to launch configuration. At T-minus 31 seconds, Discovery's onboard computers will have control of vehicle functions. T-minus 30 seconds.
25.
Thousands of gallons of water will be dumped on the launch platform in a few seconds.
15.
T-minus 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Go for main engine. 4, 3, 2. ignition, and liftoff of Discovery and a team of explorers shaping their destiny.
Roll program, Houston.
Roger, roll, Discovery.
Houston is now controlling. The roll maneuver is complete, and Discovery is now in a heads-down, wings-level position, carrying the next resident crew to the International Space Station. Seconds into the flight. Discovery's engines are now throttling down to 72% of rated thrust as it passes through the area of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Discovery already at an altitude of 5.5 miles.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Go at throttle up.
And Discovery's 3 liquid-fueled main engines are now back at full throttle, 104% of rated thrust. One and a half minutes into flight, Discovery has now expended 2.5 million pounds of propellant. It weighs less than half of what it did at the time of its liftoff. Now at an altitude of 19 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at 17 miles. Two minutes into the flight. And the booster officer here in Mission Control confirms separation of the solid rocket boosters. Little more than 6 minutes of powered flight remaining now.
Discovery, 2-engine bend.
2-engine bend.
And with that call, Discovery could make it to the transatlantic landing site at Ben Guerir, Morocco, if one engine should fail. However, all 3 engines are continuing to perform well. Discovery is now at an altitude of 44 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 65 miles. Three minutes into the flight, Discovery now at an altitude of 50 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at a distance of 87 miles. All systems on board are continuing to perform well, with just about 5.5 minutes of powered flight remaining.
Discovery, Houston, negative return.
Negative return.
Discovery is now too far downrange and has gained too much altitude to return to the Kennedy Space Center in the event of an engine failure. However, the engines and other systems on board are continuing to perform well. Discovery is now at an altitude of 64 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, a distance of 170 miles. About 4 minutes of powered flight remaining on board as the crew continues its climb to orbit.
Discovery, press to ATO, select Zaragoza.
Press ATO, select Zaragoza.
With that call, Discovery could now reach orbit on 2 engines should one fail. Once again, all 3 engines continuing to perform well. Discovery is now downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at a distance of about 257 miles. Just about 3.5 minutes of powered flight remaining. We're 5 minutes and 12 seconds into the light of Discovery.
Discovery, single engine, Ops 3.
Single engine, Ops 3.
Discovery is now performing its second roll to heads-up maneuver 6 minutes into the flight.
Discovery, press to MECO in single engine Zaragoza, 104.
Press to MECO, single engine Zaragoza 104.
And with those calls, Discovery could now reach a safe orbit on 2 engines should one fail. All 3 engines are continuing to perform well. Discovery could also reach the transatlantic landing site at Zaragoza, Spain. But again, all 3 main engines are continuing to perform well. 6.5 minutes into the flight, about 2 minutes of powered flight remaining. Discovery downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at a distance of 460 miles.
Discovery, single engine press, 104.
Single engine press 104.
7 minutes into the flight, about a minute and a half of powered flight remaining. With that call, Discovery can reach orbit on 1 engine should 2 fail. Once again, all 3 main engines are continuing to perform well. Discovery is now downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at a distance of about 590 miles. We're standing by for the call for main engine cutoff, which is expected in just about 1 minute. And Discovery's 3 main engines are now throttling back to maintain structural limits on the orbiter as it approaches loads near 3 times normal gravity. We're now 7 minutes and 43 seconds into the flight. Eight minutes and 9 seconds into the flight, standing by for confirmation of main engine cutoff. Eight and a half minutes into the flight, the booster officer here in Mission Control confirms main engine cutoff. And the booster officer also confirming separation of the external tank. 8 minutes and 50 seconds into the flight.
Discovery, Houston, nominal MECO, ohms 1 is not required.
Okay, ohms 1 not required, thanks. Houston, Discovery, like a go for tail only control.
Discovery, Vegas, we are go for tail only control.
Discovery is now in orbit, concluding its powered flight today. A virtually flawless liftoff from the Kennedy Space Center at 5:42 a.m. Central Time. The crew of Discovery, Jim Weatherby, Jim Kelly, Paul Richards, and Andy Thomas, along with the Expedition 2 crew.
3-2 of the white book.
And Discovery, we're with you in the ascent checklist, page 3-2.
Along with the Expedition 2 crew of Yuri Usachov, Jim Voss, and Susan Helms are in orbit. Their on-time launch from the Kennedy Space Center today began a very precisely choreographed approach to the International Space Station. In just about another 4 minutes or so, the International Space Station should be overhead the launch site at the Kennedy Space Center, and that will be an opportunity for the crew on board to take a picture of Discovery's launch plume, which should still be visible in the area of the Kennedy Space Center. Bill Shepard, Yuri Gudzenko, and Sergei Krikalev did not get an opportunity to watch the launch live. They will be getting a replay of that shortly on board the International Space Station.
Houston, Discovery High, MPS TVCI, so valves coming close.
Discovery Houston, Roger. And Vegas, when you're complete with that, we're seeing good cooling in all three systems. We'll be go for APU hide shutdown.
Copy, Gus, we're showing the same, and I'll pick that up after the ISILs.
Concur, thank you.
With Discovery safely in orbit, 13 minutes and 9 seconds into the flight of Discovery on the sts102 mission, we'll return momentarily to the Kennedy Space Center for continuing replays of this morning's on-time launch from the Kennedy Space Center.
Okay, here we go, thanks.
Discovery, we are 1 minute from spreading. We will be unable to speak to you for about 1 minute.
Okay, thanks. Houston Discovery, I'm putting MPS powered on isolation and GH2 inerting in work.
Discovery Houston, we copy Vegas. Discovery Houston, we like your onboard targets. You have a go to load. Vegas, we copied regarding ISOL and inerting.
Okay, we copy, thanks. Houston Discovery, starting ET umbilical door closure.
Discovery Houston, we are monitoring Vegas.
exposure complete.
And Discovery Vegas, we concur. We saw dual motor times on all. We'd like to get a forward window report when convenient.
Okay, stand by. And Houston, are we good at maneuver?
Stand by. Discovery Houston, you are go to maneuver.
Here we go. Houston, Discovery on the window report.
And Discovery Wex, go ahead, sir.
Several smudges, even more so than I've seen on other flights, although they tend to be less in obscurity. In other words, they're not as bright, but there are more of them than usual. No factor, of course. It's just doesn't look like it did very much.
Yeah, Wex, we copy all. Thank you. Discovery Houston, Wex, is that true for both the commanders and pilot sides, sir?
Yes, that's affirmative.
Copy, thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston, now concluded with our replay of launch views from the Kennedy Space Center. Here in the flight control room, the ascent team of flight controllers is continuing to watch over systems and work with the crew on board Discovery as they begin to reconfigure the software systems and other systems on board from the ascent configuration into their on-orbit operations.
Discovery Houston, you are looking good for the burn. We'll pick up TGC in about 1 minute.
Okay, thanks a lot.
We're just about 6 minutes away from what's called the OMS 2 burn. That burn, using both of the orbital maneuvering system engines on board, will last just about 1 minute and 4 seconds. The OMS 2 burn is designed to raise Discovery's orbit to about 136 by 115 statute miles. Discovery is currently in a highly elliptical orbit with a high point of 138 miles and a low point of 37 miles. Again, that OMS 2 burn will raise the altitude to about 136 by 115 statute miles. That burn scheduled to begin just about 5.5 minutes from now.
And Houston, we're going to go to the OMS 2 burn card.
Discovery Houston, roger.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're now just about 2 minutes and 50 seconds away from that orbital maneuvering system engine burn that is designed to raise Discovery's altitude from its current highly elliptical orbit of about 145 statute miles by 37 miles to an orbit of 136 by 115 statute miles. Also, in about half an hour or so, we'll return to the Kennedy Space Center for the post-launch press conference with Shuttle Launch Integration Manager Jim Halsell and Shuttle Launch Director Mike Leinbach. In the meantime, onboard Discovery, following a flawless climb to orbit this morning, the crew is in the early stages of configuring Discovery from its ascent configuration into its on-orbit configuration, modifying the computers on board to support on-orbit operations. And in just about 2 minutes, the performance of that orbital maneuvering system burn, scheduled to last just 1 minute and 4 seconds, and to raise Discovery's altitude. "20 seconds away from the orbital maneuvering system engine burn. The flight dynamics officer here in Mission Control is confirming they're in a good configuration and ready to support that burn on board. And the OMS 2 burn is now in progress on board Discovery. Scheduled to last 1 minute and 4 seconds, 32 seconds remaining in the burn.
Discovery Houston, we see a good burn, no further trim required. It's good to see y'all on orbit, and especially my friends Paul in Vegas. Congratulations.
Okay, good burn, and thanks a lot. I was very proud of them on ascent. They did a great job. They're rookies no longer.
Here in the Mission Control Center, spacecraft communicator Gus Loria congratulating the crew of Discovery.
We're on page 5-2, White Book.
Discovery, we're with you on Post OMS 2 on 5-2.
Gus Loria congratulating the crew of Discovery, now safely in orbit. We're now 40 minutes and 55 seconds into the flight. Commander Jim Weatherby commending his crew for an excellent job during this morning's climb to orbit and congratulating his pilot Jim Kelly and Flight Engineer Paul Richards. The 2 rookies on the flight, Jim Weatherby saying rookies no longer.
Houston, Discovery, Holmes RCS post-burn reconfiguring work, and thanks for the words. Gas couldn't have done without you.
Roger Vegas, and we are monitoring your OMS RCS post-burn reconfig.